What would the impact be on recruiting in the state of North Carolina? There are very few, if any, people that know about it more than Nick Stevens, managing editor of highschoolot.com. Look, I know, I don't even know his last, Bryce Baker, is that who it is?
Yeah, East Forsyth quarterback.
Right. He's a guy that was a 4-star recruit, had committed to UNC, had sort of backed out of his recruitment or his commitment when Mac Brown was fired, and now has solidified that recruitment under Bill Belichick. But who knows? What is your initial thought on how Belichick's hire will impact high school recruiting for UNC?
Well, let's start with Bryce Baker. Let me preface this by saying I haven't talked to Bryce Baker about this, so I have no firsthand knowledge of his thought process here. But he had committed Carolina a long time ago. It was last year he committed Carolina. So he's played 2 high school seasons as a UNC commit. I don't believe he actually ever decommitted. I think he just said, I'm not signing right now.
Right. He didn't sign in the early period.
Right. But, I think that, to me, the way I read that, and again, not having spoken to him about this, I just kind of felt like as long as UNC didn't completely mess up that hire, he was going to UNC. Like, I never bought into the whole LSU Penn State stuff, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Bill Belichick is interesting, and you and I were talking before during the commercial break, and I think UNC fans have a right to be excited about that hire. I mean, that's one of the best football coaches to ever walk a sideline in the sport. But I am. I don't know if skeptical is the right word. It's the only word that's coming to mind right now about the impact it's going to have specifically on recruiting, especially like in North Carolina. I think immediately, like right now, you're going to see a bump of excitement because like it's a huge deal. UNC's they're on the Pat McAfee show. They're getting
talked about it for 4 days.
Right. Huge media exposure, which is going to be exciting for anybody who is considering Carolina as an option. So I think you're going to see that. The long-term thing, I don't know. It could end up being a home run. It could end up not. I think there's a lot that we don't know about it. I think there's a lot we don't know about how kids will react to that. The way people who are adults like you and I might process a decision right. If we were making a decision about where to commit, if we were a quarterback or a linebacker or whatever, is not the same way that kids in high school today are processing that. And I think that's really important for adults to understand when they're having this conversation.
You talk about, where everybody's talking about UNC football at this point. They're really talking about Bill Belichick, and it's the association. Yeah. And I think what we're going to see next year, in year one, and this is not about personnel yet, I think you're going to see UNC on television, on national television, in prime time, a ton, unless they stink. Mm-hmm. If they're good, they don't even have to be great. If they're good, they're going to have 7 primetime games.
Sure.
Or feature games because they know people are going to tune in and watch Belichick. Not to watch him coach, but because he's the coach. Yep. They're going to tune in. And I'm not saying people tune in to watch Andy Reid. They tune in for Patrick Mahomes. But there's a reason certain teams, I get it, the quarterbacks. Patriots were one of those teams every year, and Belichick was at the helm of it. I think they're going to see a lot of that this upcoming year for UNC. Here's my question for you, though. And I've got some other thoughts about recruiting. What is the most important, because I'm not sure high school recruiting is really
right, yeah.
what Bill is going to be focused on or should be focused on. But what is your sense of what the most important thing to the majority of players? It's always going to be different for everyone, but is it playing time and the future, or is it what do I get day one, NIL money?
At the level that we're talking about, which are guys who you want to bring into a Power 4 conference with the ability to play in the NFL one day, it's about what am I getting day one? Because, listen, you can go listen to the press conferences that kids have and everything, and you're not going to hear a lot of NIL talk, but that's the thing, right? Because especially in football, and I don't blame kids for that, especially in football, you blow out a knee, you might not have an opportunity to make money in the NFL. Make the money when you can. So that's smart. But so it's going to be about what you do on day one. Now there is the NFL side. Are you going to get me prepared for the NFL? But like I was saying earlier, in terms of how kids think about things differently than us, a lot of those kids already think they're going to have that shot at the NFL. Some of them are going to have rude awakenings when they get to college. You know, I've talked to some former guys about this just in the last couple of weeks who got shots in the NFL, who were like, you know, that's how kids think today, and it's not like that. But when you hear a kid talk about why they're going to a school and everything, I would just tell people, listen to how many times you hear them talk about winning or a national championship or a conference like you just don't really hear that. That's not the driving factor, and that is different than what fans are expecting. So when you are talking about recruiting and NFL ready players, just understand you're a fan of a school, you want to win a national championship, you care about the brand of the school. That's not the reason kids are committing to a school.
You see, that's why, and this is not necessarily what we're going to talk about, but I have always said that I know we have an expanded playoff, but we are not, it will not surprise me, and I know it will happen, when football players, opt out of playoff games. Because it ain't their job to win you, the alumni, a national championship. They should be considering their future. And you know what? If I don't have to play in this game and I'm going to be drafted, I can go. We'll deal with the public relations fallout from all of that. I know too many people who got hurt playing a sport when they didn't have to play it.
Look, do you think that if you're that level of a quarterback or whatever, do you think an NFL organization is not going to draft you because you didn't play in a college playoff game? I don't.
I think it'll be a deal breaker if they were on the fence. It'll be a deal breaker. Didn't hurt Christian McCaffrey, by the way.
Because I don't know if it will, because like your job as an NFL GM or coach or whatever is to go win ball games.
Oh yeah, but what I'm saying is if we're deciding between two.
Okay, yeah.
Then for me, he didn't. I'm going to use against him. He quit on his team. That's what we're going to. Quit on his team. Never mind that he made a smart business decision.
Absolutely.
Right? Because these are just exhibitions. By the way, Travis Hunter, don't play in the ball game. Shedeur Sanders, don't do that. Just get yourself ready for the draft.
I agree. You're risking a lot of money.
Can you imagine if the Panthers end up with the third pick, and that's where Travis Hunter's going to end up going, because the two quarterbacks are going to go 1-2, Ward and Sanders. Hunter's the third pick. That's the guy I would want if I were the Panthers.
I agree.
Can you imagine if he plays in whatever stinking bowl they're playing in, and he blows out a knee, or he messes up an ankle? My gosh, I would kill myself. I wouldn't actually kill myself. All right, real quick, because I am curious your thoughts about this, because you know about high school recruiting and all this. Do you think it's more important for Belichick to be recruiting high schools or the portal? Because I see this as a transactional play for Belichick, not for the university, but for Belichick. Not so much about high school recruiting. I think the portal is more important.
I agree with you, and I think he and Carolina have a bigger opportunity in the portal than they do in high school, at least right now, until things are, I think you got to see some stuff proven.
Sure.
I think that the portal is a bigger opportunity, and I think that reading between the lines of some of the stuff he said in his press conference, when he was talking about, we want to, I think actually Chris Lee asked this question about in-state recruiting, right? That's always a huge topic.
Sure.
And he talked about they want to get the best players in North Carolina, but he immediately said, we think we can recruit nationally.
Yeah.
Well, to me, recruiting nationally at the high school level that's hard. I mean, that's difficult. Right. But in the portal, why not? That's easy.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of film on all those guys. You've already seen them all play in college. You know what you're getting there. I think that's going to be the interesting part of that. And I think it's also, Belichick is obviously really good at finding talent, and an evaluator of talent. We've obviously seen that in the NFL, but it's really hard to do that at the high school level as well. There are guys who, I've been covering high school football in North Carolina since 2006. There are guys that you watch and you're like, you just know he's going to have an opportunity, like Omarion Hampton. his freshman year at Cleveland High School, we knew that kid's special. You know, Nyheim Hines, Todd Gurley, Dexter Lawrence. These are all guys that we knew immediately. They were just different. Whatever it is, they had it. But when you find it's the guys after that make or break teams. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's hard to determine at the high school level because you don't know the level of competition they're playing against, or maybe they're not playing against great competition and you're skeptical about offering them because of that. I don't know. I agree with you about the portal though. I think that's probably their best option right now. I think that's probably where they're going to head. Yeah,
and for the most part, the portal are people looking at one last shot, right? And maybe it's about money in the portal, but it might be about exposure.
There's only like 3,000 people in the portal
That's
right
it.
now. So.
Right. Right. But it might be about exposure for the draft and making a last stab at getting ready for the National Football League. And maybe
and at that point, a lot of eyes might have been opened about, I'm not a guaranteed NFL guy.
Right.
I have work to do.
Yeah, they all do. Hey, I need to break, but we'll before I go on vacation, we got to talk about the high school playoffs.
Sounds good.
We're down to our final 4 games.
Yep, Friday and Saturday.
Should be a blast. So will you come back this week?
Yeah, sounds good.
That's Nick Stevens, managing editor, highschoolot.com at Nick Stevens, HSOT. When we